Hey people, what's going on? I'm Jay. Welcome to my channel. I got another Love After Lockup recap for you. Let's talk about Courtnee. Courtnee, and Will have only been dating for 6 months prior to her release and haven't met before. Will actually met Courtnee's mother before he even met Courtnee. Immediately upon release, Courtnee is already hiding from her mother the fact that she has warrants out for her in Washington, and that's why she can't parole to her mother's house. She hid that she could be arrested when she checks in at parole from both Will and her mother, but they don't have to worry long because she is released. And later that day, Will proposes to the girl he just met that day, and Courtnee says yes. Will claims he spent over $10,000 on the ring. Their first time alone together, she has already stated prior that she would not be do anything with Will immediately. For a minute, I do believe her when she hops in the shower and declines Will when he asks if she needs help. So her original plan is to spend time together and have some pizza, while he definitely has a lot more on his mind. However, it turns out she's the one that kicks the camera crew out of the room. That evening, on the way to drop Courtnee off at the halfway house, he proposes getting married the following day. One full day out of prison, and Courtnee and Will are getting married in the wine cellar. Her and her mother go out dress shopping together. Courtnee's mother Susie claims she has mixed emotions, but it's obvious she does not want this wedding to happen. Courtnee says she loves Will, but this isn't her dream wedding. She then admits she's not sure she even wants to go through with the wedding. Going through with the wedding anyway, she says with Will it's right. This is likely the last time we see her happy or nice to Will. On the ride to the airport, Courtnee explains her scars to Will, telling him a boyfriend at the time was driving, and they got into a car accident in the car flipped. Because of that boyfriend leaving her on the road, she has trust issues. Her mother explains once she healed from the accident, she was back out there running around again. Courtnee apologizes to her mom, explaining she's ashamed of how she's treated her mom in the past. Susie feels like now is the time Courtnee is going to start succeeding in life, and she's growing up. Once Susie is dropped at the airport, Will takes Courtnee to the halfway house. He drops her off, stating he'll call her when he gets back to his hotel. Once in his room, he gives Courtnee a call, who answers the phone just laughing for no reason. As the conversation kind of progresses, you can tell she is definitely on something. Will is clearly pissed. The next day, Will has a whole day planned for the two of them and starts out by saying he didn't want to bring it up and ruin the day. However, the moment they are in the car together, Will brings up her behavior from the night before. Courtnee is immediately defensive, a sign to me that she's hiding something. Courtnee flipped it around on him, saying she was tired, and you don't accuse people of things, and to just trust her. Stop 1 on their date is the airport. Courtnee's dreamed of becoming a pilot, so Will planned a date where she could try out a flight simulator. She's grateful for the date, but feels the date might be pointless since Will doesn't trust her. Now this part of the date was weird to me, just because of the fact they weren't spending any time together during. After the flight simulation is over, she brings up the accusations again, and an argument starts. Will explains he only wants what is best for Courtnee. It doesn't seem like she wants to resolve their first marital problem at all. She just wants to throw more gas on the fire. Stop 2 on their date. Will takes Courtnee out to eat. Order whatever you want, he says. But since she's upset Will doesn't trust her, Courtnee just wants to go home. He orders for her anyway. Courtnee yells at him for taking her to a sandwich shop for their first date. She takes her ring off, puts it on the table and walks out. When you think about her tantrum and how ungrateful she is, you just have to remind yourself how young she is. He goes on about how much he spent on her ring, her clothes, etc., and tells her she's ungrateful. She said it doesn't matter what she has, and that he's crazy. When he brings up her sugar daddies, she tells him if he provided better, she wouldn't need them. Courtnee doesn't understand why it was okay with him when she had sugar daddies while locked up, but not okay when she's out and married to him. I feel like it's pretty clear at this point she only married him because she thought he would provide financially for her and thinks he should because she believes as a husband it's his job to do so. She goes on to say, why does it matter if she has sugar daddies if he's not going to give it to her? What do you want me to do? She says. Get a job. Felons do it every day. Will leaves Courtnee at the bus stop and states, the good thing about diamonds is the resale value stays high. Will, being the good guy he is, goes back to the bus stop and takes Courtnee back to the car. She then admits rushing into marriage was a mistake.
Well, duh.
Will has to head home today, so he heads to Courtney's and hopes to talk to her before he goes. Will apologizes for his part in the argument. Courtney's response: "Whatever, dude, let's just go." After that little so-called makeup, Will plans a romantic date while Courtney rolls her eyes and tells him he's still in the doghouse. He explains it's his last day here, and he doesn't want to spend it fighting while I'm just wondering why he's the one that's in the doghouse. Will is trying hard to calm down the situation and have a nice day, but Courtney is persistent on being miserable. "He knows my expectations and my worth," she says.
What?
Once Will is back home, he admits he's been tracking Courtney's location and it's been turned off. He gets a hold of her mom, who also hasn't heard from her in a while. It's obvious Mom believes she is back on drugs. An hour later, Will is hanging out with his friend when he receives a call from Courtney telling him she's in jail. For some reason, Will acts surprised even though when he first answered the call he got the automated message telling him the call was from a correctional facility. Courtney immediately asks Will to put money on her books. He actually says no. However, in the interview he says it's hard to blame Courtney because addiction is tough, and admits that he's not sure how long he can put up with this. She then asks him to pick her up. He tells her she's gonna have to sit in there. Will says he didn't sign up to be a prison husband and isn't sure rushing marriage was a good idea. The next time we see Will, he's packing up to go pick Courtney up, stating he wants to be there for her. On his way to Oregon, Will gets a call explaining since she violated her parole, she cannot stay with him in California. Will pulls over immediately, unsure now that he wants to go pick her up. Courtney is concerned she may have ruined things with Will, saying she needs him now more than ever. What she really means is she needs someone to take care of her. Walking out, Courtney is looking for Will, who is a no-show. Her friend Mark picks her up, not understanding why Courtney is upset that her husband isn't there to pick her up. Will decides he's not going to enable her behavior. Courtney says if Will won't be there, someone else will. She does what addicts do and she blames him, telling him if he was there, this wouldn't have happened. She yells at him, telling him to stop blaming her for this. I'm not sure she is thinking when she speaks. Who else is to blame? This is her actions that put them both in this situation. So how is it not her fault, and how does she not see that? Who picked you up? Will asks. This is when Will finds out about Mark. Courtney dances around the term sugar daddy, but that's exactly what he is. Courtney feels like Mark stepped up when Will didn't. She explained how he doesn't fight with her whenever she needs money, and at this point Mark is trying to rush her off the phone. He understands me and forgives me, Courtney says. Will understands that Mark just wants to get Courtney into bed. Suspicions of cheating creep into Will's mind while Courtney is asking Will for money to pay for rent. He tells her to ask Mark for it and hangs up. I'm here for you, Mark says, pulling her in for a hug. Smile, he says. I gotcha. In the car, Mark says it's a good thing her interstate compact got denied because they can spend more time together. Will gets upset that Courtney doesn't contact him for a few days, and Courtney tells him if he's not going to be there for her when she needs him, he deserves to be ignored for a few days. He told her if she wants to behave like a single person, she can go be single. Courtney states she doesn't want to be single, then goes back to asking for money. Will tells her to ask Mark, and giggling she says he's here for me, you're not, and accuses him of being jealous. Will doesn't find it funny and tells her to go date Mark. Who's with you right now? Will questions. Courtney claims she's by herself when Mark pipes up in the background saying, it doesn't matter who you're with. Will breaks up with Courtney, and Mark calls Will the loser. Will, who has his head on straight, has a decent job, and can provide for himself as the loser, but Courtney, fresh out of prison begging people for money and searching desperately for someone to take care of her, is the real cashier? She says she hasn't felt supported or provided for. I don't even know anyone who goes around complaining that other people won't provide for them. Provide for yourself, girl. Mark offers her a room at his house, and she claims she wants her own independence. However, she'll continue to take his money with no problems. While Will is filing for divorce, Courtney is trying to drop her ring at a pawn shop. Upon arriving, she tells the lady she wants $20K for it because it's a 2-carat diamond and she thinks a 1-carat is $10K. What she doesn't take into consideration is the fact that if anyone is going to sell a ring for $20K, they can't pay $20K for it. None of this matters, however, because the diamond test's fake and the lady says she can sell it for $6. Will calls her and tells her he has divorce papers being drawn up. Courtney says she's not worried about a divorce right now. "What is your problem?" she exclaims. She said he's worried about divorce papers, and she's worried he lied to her about the ring. I'm not sure why any lies matter if he wants a divorce. He's not trying to be with her anymore, he's not trying to kiss up to her, so why would he care if she feels like she was lied to? She's making it seem like he should be asking for forgiveness and telling her he wants to be with her when he just wants out at this point. Will swears the ring is real and again says he paid $10,000 for it. She tells him he's the worst husband ever and she's mad he's asking for a divorce even though she was trying to sell the ring. Will flies back to Oregon to serve Courtney with divorce papers. However, Courtney is ignoring all incoming calls from Will. He decides to track her location and show up at her house unannounced. Courtney shuts the door in his face. Of course, she's mad he's there. She's always mad. When has this girl been happy? For some reason Courtney wants to fight the divorce process too, ripping up the papers. I'm not sure why this girl wants to fight about every single thing that comes her way. Will asks Courtney who she's been sleeping with. He then gives her 24 hours to sign the papers. Courtney is too young for all this commitment, and she's very immature. She is right though. She doesn't know what a healthy relationship looks like, or how to be in one. However, that doesn't mean you ghost your own husband and treat him like crap. She's still very selfish, and may never grow out of that, because right now she doesn't even see anything wrong with her own actions. She thinks the world owes her everything, and she's above people who are doing much more with their lives than she is. But that's just my opinion. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more.